chair away so that it doesn't bump. So it's gone. So I can hit pause or stop. Okay. All right, you better get going.
It was a lot of fun.
See you later.
He enjoyed the parade.
You meet a lot of people.
He said, I can do that. They said, project over here, got it. They said, plan this seminar. And I said, no. We were going into 15 different directions. Paul was in Iowa, and I was in Minnesota.
Kansas too, or,
I went to Kansas.
yeah.
I tried to get Malachi to go with me, but he thought I was trying to go with his dad.
They had somebody to drive, right, with you would have been.
Well, I flew
Oh, you flew, oh.
She flew through all that time.
like right through that Friday, and I didn't even know there's anything going on until I got to Kansas.
Oh, boy.
My
you were
flights
lucky.
were, yeah. Everything went really well going both ways. I actually got back to Fargo in time for my meeting, and I was really worried about that, because any little delay would have, well, and plus both times I only had
And when
an
did you
hour
come
in
back?
Dallas. I came back on
You flew- oh,
Wednesday morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cause when, Emily was leaving on Sunday, she was like late, 3, 4, 5 hours, and then missed flights, and had to go to another airline, and.
No, I had an hour in Dallas both times, is all, not even. And the second time, I flew into gate 3, and I had to go to gate 40.
Oh,
Well, and I was like, well, that's no big deal to take the tram, but now if you're in the same terminal,
oh.
so I'm walking, I'm like, I'm not gonna make this. Well, then, gates, 30 to 39 took a different,
Oh,
so it's like, went from 29 to 40.
oh, thank you.
And then that plane was delayed, but,
So then you hurried for.
right, cause the plane wasn't even there when we got there. But they worked so hard, and they got everybody on that plane, and then made up every minute of it in the air.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I've done that before too. You always wonder how they can make it up.
I know.
It's like, why can't you?
You don't notice it.
She ended up in a different airline and ended up flying into New York someplace, and a friend had to drive 5 hours to come and get her, and then 5 hours to take her back to Boston.
Oh, my
It was just, I swear every time she comes home, there's something goes wrong.
No, I was lucky.
It almost made you wonder, think, why did we fly so good with all this mess going on?
Well, and I should have known there was something up, cause the guy couldn't print my ticket, which I should have downloaded it, but I didn't. And then they hand wrote my bag tag,
Oh, really?
and the guy was struggling, and he had to start over, throw it away and start over.
I'm sure they're not used to anything now.
But even that didn't click, that there was something wrong.
Probably, I would have thought it was maybe just their one that they had there at the time, and
Yeah,
not
it was
thinking it was the whole.
It was in Fargo, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, their printer is down, whatever.
Jeez.
Getting caught.
Morning then. Here we are, another new week.
Do we have to do all of this as a matter, or do I read this and we can just go?
We'll get through that. You'll read it to me and then we'll, I think we should, we need you to notarize them and,
They're ready for you. I went and checked. They're ready for you.
where we're going.
First International. They're ready.
Either one, they all have no.
I think we go to first day too, but we go to first day. You already called them?
I walked in there and asked them about it. And he said, yep, we got 6 notaries in here.
Okay, we'll go do that. We'll do that right after this. Okay.
Am I reading it to you during this meeting? No,
No.
the notary will read it to you.
Actually, the notary, all they do is just
verify it.
Yeah, if he wants to read it, but that's all they're there to do, to say, yep, he actually signed
As
it.
long as we get it done, we just have to get it done,
Mhm.
We can go.
okay? You can write with me and we'll stick it.
You can read it too.
My notary commission expires this year.
I have one. I think I could have done it. I know you can't just family, but I thought just in case, have somebody
For a
else do it.
while, I was doing traveling notary stuff for
Oh.
like signing agencies like out of California. They'd pay me like $500 a time,
Oh, really?
drive to like Wishick or
Oh,
something,
you had
and
it, okay. Mhm.
notarize like loan documents for somebody. Yeah, like $500.
Right, I suppose if you're doing
It's like-
something like that. Yeah.
For a while, it was kind of a nice little side, but then I just never had time to do it.
Well, yeah, especially if you're driving on. James is coming, right?
Yeah,
he was
walking in.
He's what?
Walking in.
How do you know he's walking in?
I asked him if he was close.
You got eyes in the back of your head, or?
I asked him if he was close.
That
He
all
said he was
parents do that, don't we all?
Yeah, I used to, you know, the teacher does, he's got eyes in the back of her head.
Yeah. Parents and teachers, they all do.
Okay, is it Presnidone or Presnidone or Prednisone? Prednisone. Holy moly, my son just came off of that, and that was a hell of a week.
Oh, really? You're making really hyper,
But,
you're making really hyper.
well, just mad.
Oh.
I've had a lot of people say that that's common, but like, he was just a
Wow.
angry
So you're
thing.
looking forward to a better week?
Well, this weekend, like, he was off on Friday, and so this weekend, it just kind of came back to normal, but every morning, he was just getting consolable.
Spencer beat me here.
It makes them really,
Yeah, you did, I see him pull up as I was,
Grant was
he
on
was walking in,
prednisone
and
a
he
lot
was
of
pulling up.
as a baby, cause of his allergies, and they couldn't figure out his
It
allergies.
was in here. Oh,
Yeah, it was ugly.
yeah, I know, it was every morning, as soon as I changed his shirt, that was just the end of it, and he was
Wow.
inconsolable for like 30 minutes after that. I was, dude, it's just a t-shirt, like, oh, man.
Pick a different one.
It's 7, okay, good morning, everyone, thank you all for coming, on this wonderful Monday morning, towards the end of July, 7 a.m., we'll call the meeting to order. We can't add anything, so we will start with, agenda item number 2, 24-25 budget, so Dr. Lukens, go right ahead.
Do you wanna get a motion? We'd start with the budget itself, and then we'd go to the certificate of levy based on the fact if
You want a motion to what?
Well, don't you wanna discuss it?
As you do it,
Or, yeah, okay, I'll do it and then we'll.
then, yeah, let's do it.
So you go to the back page, as the budget itself, the expenses, the very back page, the way this prints out, it's just the way the document prints out. The last 2 pages are your cumulative expenses of the budget, okay? So there's a couple pages on revenue, but the other 86 pages are all expenses, okay? So all of this up here, except for 2 pages on revenue, is the expenses, and they add up total to the back 2 pages. So this gives you your overlook of what's going on in those 86 pages, the back 2 pages here. We're all following, okay? So you see, professional salary, we've had some turnover, but overall, we're hopeful that we can get everything covered. That's gonna cost you less overall, and since that is over 80% of your budget, that can result in quite a large drop in overall spending. So your overall spending then drops, you can see overall for salaries dropped by 159,000 projected for the year. benefits, we are now this is a variable that I can't control. Health insurance has not reported to us. I am hopeful that since we are a pre-Obama plan and have been grandfathered in, the pre-existing conditions and the things that go into a post-Obama plan, will hold our expenses, lower than some of the other groups in the area. In fact, I have information that that is the case, but I don't wanna act prematurely. This does forecast an 8.5% increase in health insurance. And we'll see how that plays out. Overall though, if we do have an 8.5% increase in health insurance, you're still looking at a drop in your benefits cost by 18,000. So you look through that, see your professional services, only about the same. Your operational services, you're looking at it being, an increase there. You can see the increase is in your equipment repair. We put some more money into, potentially fixing our, existing equipment, whether that be boilers or things like that. Purchase services, we just forecast an increase in our insurances. You got an increase in postage. But, we think we can get by with the postage we have. So you can see there, we go to supplies and materials. Again, basically an inflationary increase across the board, about a 5% increase. Property, this is where we put more money. You can see there was 4,000 budgeted for land and site last year. We put 50,000 into it, with the idea that there'll be things we have to fix in the property area. Vehicles, we've got that activity bus in there. That would be something that would go away next year. Equipment, forecasting a small decrease in equipment expenses like buying equipment. Technology, we're going to run to a 5-year rotation. So to get onto the 5-year rotation, which would eventually save you money, we had to put about $60,000 into our computers to get to the five-year rotation. We put 100,000.
3 year, right?
No, so right now you run 3 years, okay, because your warranty is 3 years, okay? And then if you run to 5, that's why we did the tech fee. So the 4 and 5 years, that is replacement for the 4 and the 5-year olds. And then we don't have to spend the $100,000 a year. We can drop that number down. So you're not spending $100,000, you're spending, I'm not saying that the cost of the computers won't go up.
Yeah.
We may get back to $100,000, but you can get to where you're not spending that much per year on the 3-year rotation. So the tech fee is to cover the 4 and 5 year losses, which that's what that's for. Okay. So you can see there's a big increase in that property there with the technology, the land and site, the fixing vehicles, getting an activity bus, those type of things. You can see that's where a large amount of things are. Again, that bus will go away next year, hopefully, and then based on the grants, hopefully we come out with 5 new buses for the cost of what you have right here. That would be ideal. Would be the ideal way to do it. So, other objects. Let's see, we look like we're gonna put some. We have some newer administration. We have new mentorship programs going on. So that number went up a bit, but that still is negligible because it went from like 7,000 to 10,000. So that would be the expenses of the budget. like specifics of the budget, I mean, you can look through the other 86 pages and talk through, group insurance, you can talk through, look at specific contracts, you can look at hourlies, how they're broken out, the cost per day, retirees and your retirement benefits, but overall, I mean, if there's specific, I know I gave this to you on Friday so that you'd have the ability to go through it, and be able to come prepared with specific questions. If there's any of those, after you have a motion, I would be willing to answer anything you want.
Okay, let's have a motion to, accept the budget and second, and that will allow us to legally discuss.
I'll make a motion to accept the budget.
Second,
Second.
Go ahead.
Spencer seconds, okay? So it's been moved to, approve the budget, that would give you the, otherwise, now we will open up the discussion. You can discuss anything and ask any questions and discuss anything you want.
For the, really right on the first page, the Board of Education non-certified salary, is that including, I know that's Zane, but, is where we put that, but is that including, because of that number, any potential like mentor time from like Louisa? Or where does 88.3 come from?
There's a budget for a half-time assistant for the
Oh,
business
oh,
manager
that's,
position.
okay.
But there's still another $10,000, so what's the $10,000 for?
That would be the number is an automatic number that adds up when you add the salaries together. And so that, I would have to go into the budget here and I'll be able to show you.
Yeah, it doesn't though, it's Zane's plus half plus 10,000.
Yeah, it would include Louisa's salary, it would include, I'm just gonna go to the exact cell and give you the added cells and I'll be able to tell you exactly. School board salaries and Zane's salary and the assistant business manager, plus 2 days PD for each member.
Suppose like if we contracted, or whatever.
4 days PD is $10,000?
Yeah, so that would be the cells, yes, you'd have Zane's salary, the business manager, assistant salary, school boards, all of your salaries.
Oh, it's all in there too.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's,
okay.
that's
Okay, that makes sense then.
$6,000.
That makes sense then.
Okay.
Okay?
And then, I'm assuming, I'm sure that that whole thing with the boiler cover and all that stuff and things too, I'm sure that's underneath property and that must be all part of that larger amount of.
Boiler cover, we haven't got a number back on that yet, we
Oh.
haven't found any way to work on it yet, so.
Oh, okay,
We are projecting that will be something we have to tackle in the future, but we are hoping that we can get that boiler cover through this year. If that would be something that would have to come out of building if there were to be something bigger that were to be found there, but we're hopeful we can get through the year with that.
Does that include the AC?
AC, we're probably gonna have to split it over 2 years, and there's that $50,000 jump in there. I don't expect to use all of that $50,000. That would then be able to be used a little over. So we expect to do the AC probably next summer, and then get on our list for next summer.
then we can pay half this coming year and half the next year, correct?
Yes, and split it over 2 budgets.
Would help.
So the 320 line says pro ed services, my understanding is that should not say that should say legal fees.
Yeah, this would be what you have, it says audit costs, software maintenance,
Well, that's 330.
oh, okay. Yeah, well, we jumped it up, we could say legal fees if you want, we jumped it up because we're spending about, 2 to 4 hours a week on average in open records requests, so we end up doing a lot of stuff with that now, so that's where the jump came.
Have you actually spent any money on open records requests?
Have we spent money? Yeah, we have to go to the lawyer to check on things.
I mean, this is pretty much for legal fees that, which, Zane, I don't know if you've gotten my emails, but I did ask for a itemized listing and all the invoices for the legal fees in the last year.
Somebody asked me for that and I sent it to them already, but when did you send it?
Oh, I don't know, a week or so ago.
I don't know, if I saw it, I would've sent it to you immediately, because somebody else sent me that too, and I sent it to them within 10 minutes, so.
No, I sent you 2 emails, so please check, cause if you're not getting my emails, I gotta find out why.
Yeah, cause I'm not missing any emails right now, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we jumped it up, we had that discussion, on average, we're spending, something might take, you don't have to chart, like, until you act, but there's an assessment time and there's checking on things and there's, every time you go to the lawyer, it's $250 an hour, so we just project that it's that over, we're just projecting over the year, if that's what we have to spend, that's why it went up.
What is the 7,000 on professional services for transportation?
I don't believe they changed that, because, let me just pull this up. Pro answer, school bus driver workshops.
They get paid for
Supposed to pay for their
Training and
training and stuff,
licenses.
Well, I'd like to switch to the revenue. I got lots of other questions on the other, but
Well, isn't the motion on the floor on that, cause that's the certificate of levy, we'd have to pass the certificate of levy.
okay, we need the numbers first and the revenue is part of the budget.
You wanna switch to revenue, we can.
The numbers don't add up. First of all, on title, under the district money and the dollars, that amount is the same. And obviously it shouldn't be.
So district money and dollars.
It says district dollar sign and then total.
Yeah, so that's a lot assigned to us by the feds, that's the number that.
Right, but the accounting's not right because there's no way those numbers are the same. That under district dollars, that actually adds up to 198,120, not 222,000.
Okay, if the formula's off, I'll try to get it fixed here for you.
The additions of,
There you go, okay, what's
And-
your,
Then on the, total state revenue, I'm not sure if I'm missing something, but I came up with $3,851,994 instead of $3,961, so I was off by like 110,000. I'm assuming that's a formula thing, cause every time I added it, I couldn't come up any other way.
yeah, I went through this is the same budget we used last year, I went through that with Adam Tescher, and he approved it as accurate. We summed up, so you're talking about the total number is off?
The total state revenue,
Okay, so you think the total state revenue should be what? What's your thoughts?
$3,851,994.
Okay, I did go to Adam Tescher and these numbers were accurate. If we were to,
so where are you seeing the mishap on the federal revenue, Vanessa? No,
Right here, those two numbers are the same, there's no way those two can be the same.
Oh.
If you add this up, this is not, this,
okay, so why is that, cause that one's unshaded in comparison to the.
so which one are we talking about?
he's still on title.
Okay, yeah, focusing on the title, what's your question, Spencer?
Well, they're just, well, let me see this one's too, so just trying to. So where Vanessa's at the line item total, the 222,525, looks like the carryover would be in addition to that, and then the total at the end is 222,525.
Yes. So we did not, even with the staffing we had, we did not effectively spend all the title dollars we had.
Yeah, cause I mean, like, these all add up correctly, but
Yeah, but these don't.
yeah, it's,
And technically that carryover shouldn't even be in there because, well, there should be a totally separate title. Like that all should be pulled out and separate.
It's counted as revenue. I mean,
Right,
so,
but only if you use it. So
well,
really that 24,000 that we didn't use last year was
where are you getting the
ultimately-
24,000?
from your
For the
carryover.
carryover.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
So we actually transferred the Title II and then Title IV to Title V, so
Right.
that $5,000 is in Title V that can be used for professional development. The 19,000 is left over from the Title I budget that wasn't spent, so that needs to be spent and expended by, December 31st.
Mhm.
So these total numbers, the 161,000 is what, and I did send updates to the finance committee that the state does recommend you spend all of your title dollars down. So that's 161,857 is what is recommended that we spend this year in Title I alone from federal, or else we could go on remediation. The dollars would be, you know, what is the ramifications of going on remediation? I tried to explain it as, it's really run by kind of like No Child Left Behind, where, if you don't spend those dollars, you could go on some sort of probationary period, and then, cause you're scored, like on your ability to address the needs of the kids that have been identified. And so they would start telling you what to do with your money.
Yep, got it, know that.
Okay, so what else do you need to know about the title budget?
Well, just, I know that always in the past, we have separated because it's two separate budgets. And I know for this purposes, I think this is okay, but ultimately, I believe we have to separate it.
I would love, I mean, I've talked about, I took the exact format that you were used to, and came off of last year's budget. I would love to change this format in the future, but for the purpose of making things simple for the board, so the board can see something familiar, I use the exact same format you approved last year. As far as the additions and the cell additions and all those different things, those ultimately were not changed. So if the cell additions are wrong in some way, I'd be willing to go back and edit the cells, but this was exactly the format you had.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Colette, we always do a separate title budget.
I will be submitting a title budget,
Yeah, we have to approve a separate title budget.
Right.
that will be done,
Right,
but
but that was usually listed in here though. Right, and I know what you mean, that one will have to be
Yeah.
approved separately.
That's what I'm.
Oh,
that's what I'm
okay,
saying.
right, but I think you just included it, cause that does also cover all the title as far as the salary and benefits and all of that, so.
so if this is approved, and I am certain on the staffing of where we can go with this, I can start working on that title budget. Because, there was question on whether, like, you know, at the last meeting, I asked to move something to title so that I could start developing that budget, but that was not allowed to happen. So now, we have our dollars here, this needs to be approved so that by August 1st, we need to get our certificate of levy in. The title budget is due to the state by the end of the month. So if I start to get some concrete numbers into our title numbers, so I can start budgeting salaries and benefits and those type of things, then I can start giving you the title budget for the state.
Right, yeah, cause that will have to come separate then later once you.
Yes, but, I mean, that could have been possible, but we were gonna transfer duties and get that title budget together, but there was just some uncertainty on staffing, and so we were gonna make sure that.
So further up on that page, the miscellaneous 2,500, miscellaneous revenue, what would that be?
What page are you at?
It's the
On the
same,
same
right
page?
above the title,
Oh,
under the general fund.
I think once in a while, I've seen like even from Louisa and from Zane, once in a while they might get something odd that's an extra thing that someone might like get a rebate back from something or other, then she a lot of times would just record it as miscellaneous, you know, or something.
So that was just taken from like, this is what we normally. Okay.
You didn't change that, okay?
Well, yeah, I still maintain that that number on the total state revenue is incorrect. Unless I'm missing something, but when I added up.
I'd be willing to go back to Adam Tesher. We worked the formula. I went through each month with him to talk through exactly what the check should be per month. And
You're saying this,
he said he was actually really impressed because it's a very complex formula and it came out accurate.
Which one is complex? Not the total state revenue.
The per pupil and the line 11 and 12 and all the things that the state goes in to try to get that exact number. They were pretty, Adam thought it was,
You're saying this number's off?
No, that number's not off. This one is. Right there.
Okay.
so,
Like, it's easy add up. It's that number plus that number plus that number plus that number. And it doesn't add up to what it says.
okay. So I'm gonna see 407, 408. I mean, I could just, it's a sum equation. I could change it to just a plus plus a plus. I mean, see if it changes it.
Well, you may have an extra
yeah, maybe extra something in there,
line in there because.
that she doesn't know about, but.
Cause it's.
It comes back with the same number again.
So which numbers are you, where's the 110,000 that I'm missing?
So you're talking about C406.
We don't get that.
Yeah, we don't,
So you're talking about the total state revenue.
Yeah,
right
it
here.
says
Yeah.
Yeah.
three
right above
3.961.
total fund one.
Oh, I'm on a different place.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.961,846.
That's, pull back. I don't wanna mess this up too much, cause we throw off one number, then the whole thing goes.
Cause that should be the total of.
3,000, so right now, for you, it reads 3,961.
3
Yes.
million, yeah.
3,961,46.
Yep.
That would be the total of that's a simple adding equation, so, 416, 418, 408, and 406, so, yeah, there's no not complicated there at all, it's just adding up the cells of
Right.
total.
So which cells?
It's adding the total state revenue,
Total state
State
funding.
funding, yep.
Yep.
3.7 million.
Yep.
Okay, it's adding 408, the transportation aid, which would be why it would be off, cause it's adding the transportation aid in addition, that's already in there.
I was gonna say, well, yeah,
Where-
there's,
Where is that?
cause I think he's saying that it's adding this in as well twice.
Oh,
because
it's
should
adding it
be
in
part of the
twice.
total.
Okay.
Because it's already in the total, so if I take it and I just pull that out, then you get to the 3.785.
Well, that still doesn't add up to what I have. 3.8.
Okay, and then it's adding in your, let me go back here and get back on that cell, okay? Now it's adding in your 418, which is special ed, and it's adding in your 416, which is hot lunch. So,
Yeah, those are,
Does it add in vocational aid?
Yeah, it's adding,
and the vote.
it's not adding in the vocational ag. So that's just a formula problem. And we are not sure of the vocational ag numbers at this time. So that's, but I've heard that it's going to maintain. Okay,
Cause
so, okay,
Yeah, 3,851,994 now.
yes, that is exactly what shows up there now.
So on the special education, where does that figure come from?
I'd actually let Colette talk about special education figures, because that's been her profession. How does the special education revenue come into schools?
Okay, so that would be like money we would get back for, would be student contracts. You know, we pay them out, we would get it back, and then also would be we are going to be, I don't know how many students we have again right now that we're gonna be charging other districts for. And we already did get some back here the other day and things too, so, like, if we have someone that lives in our district but is open and rolling, I'm just gonna pick one, this is not even a real student, say over in Drake, there's one. We can actually bill them for all professional ed services, we never did in the past, so we're just going to start doing that. So if they get speech services or anything like that or whatever, we're gonna bill them. We actually have, I think, at least 2 or 3 of them right now. We have, I think, in all, pretty much the districts around us, I think we have at least 3 of them. We're guesstimating about how much that would come back to us.
Okay, went through and looked at the students and
Mhm, yeah, and
came
that
up with
we've
that
never,
number.
that we never billed before, that we're gonna start now this year. So, it's a little help.
I have so many notes.
So that formula was off last year too?
Yes. I didn't change it.
Under the certified teacher extracurricular salary, what is Carson Adams?
It's extracurricular salary for Carson Adams.
I think isn't that,
isn't there like a music one too?
yeah, as I
There
said,
is,
Band,
but
pep band.
from the negotiated agreement, it looks like he's getting both, the head coach and the assistant coach. I don't know how you, what
Oh,
you, unless I'm misunderstanding something that he's got going on there.
music vocal instruction.
I believe there's like state contests, right, and then there's
Right.
Both of them, as you're saying.
Yep,
instrumental music and vocal music extracurriculars pops up.
right, but the dollar amount indicates that he's getting both of those, is that accurate, or?
Yeah, that would be the number that has been inputted here. That number did not change because we did not, the extracurriculars salary stayed the same.
is it like on page 4?
There's no page numbers.
No, I mean, the 4th page.
I don't know, cause I
Oh,
unstapled
you're,
them.
okay,
So
because
like,
I know when you look here,
it's
it'll state
certified,
that 50% and then 25 and 25, so at least.
right, but I'm talking about the extracurricular portion.
Right.
4,115.
You think that's too high?
Well,
So my question
if
is,
you look here, it indicates that he's getting both the,
is he getting money for musical? Is he
well,
doing musical
he's
every year?
no,
So last year though, there was a musical. So did
Correct.
you change that number from last year?
Well, there's the-
So there
there's
is
an
no
angel.
musical this year, so he should be less than, right?
right, well, and that would be,
Angel, right? Doesn't Angel do the musical?
There's only a musical every other year.
no,
She
I
does.
mean, she does too,
Mhm.
and I don't know what she gets I don't know, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm saying it looks to me like he's getting both the, for lack of a better term, head and first assistant.
It probably was in there because this last year, I think there was a musical and he also gets paid
This is
some
from
for, competitions and things too, so.
And where's his regular pay?
That would be this one.
If you add those two up, is it equal that number?
No, if you had these two up, it equals that number.
I wouldn't be surprised that maybe, cause see, last year there was both, he gets paid, I think, for like doing contests and things, and then musical.
Right, which
But
that
this
doesn't
year
add
now,
up
there
either,
won't be a
but,
musical, right, cause it's every other year, so we
Right.
could check that one.
under the bus drivers, I think it's bus, it has a B anyway. It shows Mike down as 12,000, can you explain that?
That was the number that was inputted on that day, when we went through, when we were talking through it. Am I inaccurate? I saw that this morning and I thought, I don't know if that's right.
Well, I'm not sure what it's for, that's what I'm asking.
It's the transportation coordinator.
It is.
I think it was 10,
It was 10.
it was 10,
Yeah, so that
10,
was,
we added
So you can
10,000, we added 10,000 to his salary
right.
as
It was the last
transportation
meeting.
coordinator. And then we have to bid
because
on
it was
that.
adding up to when I looked at that, I was like, that's adding up to 40, 45, that should be 43.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, we just.
So I
wanted-
changed that just now in
Yeah,
the budget.
that's okay.
Okay, but, so who are the bus, like, those other four? I mean, I know one would be Maria, is Mike one of those as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he would be one
Okay.
of those as well. The top part would be transportation.
And then do we have two others currently, or, and don't we need more than that?
Maria Kuntz is, you can see their halftime. We actually had, an applicant for the split position and we're working on trying to get him here. The Emmanuel Nyarko, he's in a little bit of trouble with his apartment lease, but. So that was the other one, and then we have four routes actually, so this budget is for 5 routes, but we were gonna try to start with 4.
There's only 4.
Yeah, we changed it to 4 last year.
Right, so it doesn't budget for 5, there's 4.
Yeah, if you'd like, we can zero that out right now.
Well, there is just 4 in there.
There only are 4.
Well, yeah, you're right. I was just looking at 5
I
spots.
think
That
we
was
still
off.
haven't heard back from Ron yet.
So we currently have 3, but we're obviously should budget for another one, I get
Yeah.
that.
We currently have 2.
2
What,
for
right,
sures.
2, you're right.
Yeah, 2 for sures, and then the other one's waiting on doctors and the other one is.
Potential for another one, yeah.
Mhm.
Under the pairs, is that enough positions? I know there was talk about having Brenda for a couple hours. I don't see that in here.
Yeah, I did not put that in. I don't know. You know, there's a potential, like we said, with the title budget, to add another pair through title. Catch is there, it's gotta be someone who's got at least a 2-year degree. So then you could fund that through title, but as of now, sitting at, we could add a title person through that revenue and still probably be able to get that 161,000 spent down, but.
Well, my understanding is that lunch position, a couple hours a day would be insanely helpful.
I'm sure, and I agree that it would, I mean, you're already into miscellaneous and you're already raising taxes just to cover your payroll and whatnot, I just didn't feel that if you're stewarding it for the taxpayers, that adding that would necessarily be something that would be absolutely necessary. Is it nice? Absolutely. Is it something that I think the teachers could use? Absolutely. Is it something that I would really like to give them? Sure, I think that'd be great. I just don't know if, when you're already going into miscellaneous, of adding more onto it.
Right, but we also have to cover our, I mean.
Which is where I was talking about another title para, you know, cause they will be in the
Right, but
question.
that's a big amount of dollars, this is a little amount of dollars.
Yeah, but when you're talking about a lunch supervisor, that's running out of the general fund. When you're talking about a title para, that's running out of the title fund, and you have to spend your title dollars, and your levy is coming off your general fund. So, you have to spend the big amount of dollars down. Whereas if you put a lunch supervisor in there, that's coming from directly off the tax rolls. I mean, it's running two different funds, I guess. Which I would probably bring you, if we were to pass this, I would probably bring you a projection of having two title paras and see what you think. I know Dr. Harding talked to me at the beginning of the year last year about doing another para in title, because she thought there would be budget for it. There wasn't, we only had about 19,000 in carryover, so we'd have gone over if we'd done it last year. But I think this year, with our title allotment going up by about 3,000, plus having about, you know, 19,000 in carryover, you know, we're probably gonna be able to do a second title para. I know she talked to me about it last year. It's one of those things that you really wish you could do, but you couldn't last year. This year, maybe, you know, maybe we could add that second para then.
I don't know, I think we have to stay open to that position, but.
Yeah, it'd be like about, $6,000, I don't know what she made, it'd be something like that.
Right,
Mhm.
and then she would just get no benefits, right?
Yeah, nothing,
There's nothing.
cause it would only be 10.
There's
hours.
retirement, there's social security, there's all those.
It would just be social security, yeah, because
Yeah.
it would be like 10 hours a week only.
You'd qualify for PERS though, you'd have to pay PERS on that,
Nope, has to be 20.
does it have to be 20?
So we would be able to fall at least underneath PERS, so. But that one could probably easily be added or something or other.
Other benefits, what are those entail? Like, for instance, under the 120 elementary, no idea what page this is. It's 3,500. What would that be? The rest of them are small, I understand they're.
You're talking elementary, hey, can you show me the picture that you're looking at so I can get there? Okay. Elementary. Okay, and elementary building. Elementary principal, elementary guidance.
You're talking 290.
Yeah.
Get down to it.
I think this is elementary. Yes, I know it's elementary staff.
Trying to find the 290 in here. You're talking 3,500 or
Yep.
290,000?
3,500.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, the line is 290,
Well, the line is 290.
yeah, it says, you know, like some says 210, group insurance says
Yeah,
290.
I was looking down lower.
Right.
Okay, 290, other benefits.
Yeah, where it says,
Okay. So that's part of a cumulative number, so other benefits across the board is, long-term disability benefits.
Oh, right,
Oh, that'd be
yeah,
fine.
life
Yeah.
insurance and long-term disability.
I was looking for 290,000, and I was like, why can I not find that big a number?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's long-term disability benefits.
So we have another $2,000 on the profit, or the, what should be legal services under elementary as well. Is that more legal fees, or is there something else in there?
it's 320, it's just right down from
Yep,
that three,
yep.
that
Yep.
300.
Yeah, so if you go across the end, there would be like, you know, services you provide in general to your elementary teachers, whether it be consultations that they would request.
Yeah, I think it wasn't just legal, I mean, depends on what
Yeah,
section it is.
I don't-
legal fees. It could be anything professional.
When we discussed it, it was, we were looking at what was causing the overage the year before, and that was the legal fees. But it's not purely, it's not purely legal fees. We upped it because we consider ourselves having to use the legal services, but
But you still have professional services other underneath that, I think that should be, I think that's supposed to be legal fees, like in the 320.
yeah, I guess
And-
this would be, if we wanted to change, I'd be willing to sit down with you and change the line items. I mean, and the labels, so they're more to your liking. I guess this is just what you've passed in the past.
Yeah, and the legal could be under, should be like under the, just the professional services, you know, and then the professional education services for like consultations and things like that, you know, I know what you mean, it's like, you should probably change this to where it's at, you know, or whatever.
Well, and whatever it's supposed to, like,
Right, yeah, because I would say, professional education services should be like consultations and things like that, and leave this professional services, that could be like legal fees or different things, yeah.
well, I have a lot of pages that I didn't get through, those are my questions that I did get through. And honestly, because this wasn't available to the public, and I don't have the principals looked at it and determined if they're covered.
With the principals, we went through staffing, they put their budgets together as far as they had, last November, we started working on their supply budgets for staff.
But I mean, this document,
I was not aware that the principals approved the budget. We
They-
got
they
their
don't.
staffing together.
okay, they don't, but I mean, one would think that they might see something that we don't. I would prefer not to approve this today, but
We could
I'd
bring
like,
it-
I'd like to
we-
see it with those changes, and
We could come back tomorrow.
That could be tomorrow or Wednesday at the latest, because it has to be approved by the 30th.
I thought it was the 10th.
I worked with the finance committee pretty close on this.
I thought you just said August 1st.
Yeah, Steve, Anna moves past theirs, and they told me that there's a restriction in our area that you should have it passed by August 1st. Spencer was right at the last meeting, he said they're due. And so Spencer was on point.
Good job.
So I mean, no, Spencer told me that, and I went and I checked up on it. I called the local districts and they said, yeah, you gotta get it in by, you have to have it approved by August 1st. It's like, okay. So that's why I brought it to you, cause I knew that this was the day that, everyone could get together. And so I worked very closely to try to make sure that it was as accurate as possible.
So would we have some time tomorrow or Wednesday then, if somebody don't want to?
I need to leave tonight.
Won't be here tomorrow.
Wednesday?
I'm flexible.
I won't be here Wednesday either.
Okay, so I think we have to
I'll
trust,
be in Brookings.
I think, Clyde, you looked at this really closely as well.
Unless.
I have to go, I
Right. Are you back at all later tomorrow evening, or you're gone tomorrow evening too?
He's gone too, right?
You're back tomorrow evening too? Right.
If you pass the budget, can you amend it?
yes,
If you pass
it's
the
not,
budget-
this is a preliminary budget,
This isn't the.
your official budget does not come in until October, you have to submit that to the state.
So can we pass this as a preliminary budget and then we can amend
Don't we
it if
do our,
there's a, if
don't we
there's a
do our
problem?
actual, don't we do our actual budget hearing in September, is it?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
budget hearings in, well, and then that's why we had that, we had a October 11th meeting, and we had a roll call vote, we had it before the 15th of October.
If we'd be certain to revisit it and are open
And
to,
make it, you
Yeah.
can call this a preliminary.
are open to changes.
Your certificate of levy is based on your preliminary budget, not on your final budget. This is a preliminary budget.
Yeah.
You okay with that?
Cause I'm kind of that way too, I like to see the on paper changes that we've made already today
And then we can
first,
amend, and then we can
and-
amend it, but we can approve this as a preliminary budget.
Mhm.
but with the changes we made.
Right,
Yep,
yeah, even we
yep.
just put the changes from today and then yes, and then,
But this would be the preliminary budget, and then we make more changes, and that would move towards the final budget.
right, cause if we would end up having to,
Cause like we caught the formula, like last year we passed our preliminary budget,
Well, cause
there was something wrong in the formula, now we fixed that formula.
Because I know Mr. Stutland said it the last time, and I think his logic on this was from the preliminary on to your actual budget, you really only have room to go down, you don't have room to go up. Because you're really, when you're signing your certificate of levy, you're saying this is how much revenue we need. So if like you're talking about wanting to like add a position or something, like, we're not gonna do that later, So just to kind of point out that nuance, I guess, just for,
Well, then,
I don't know if you guys remembered that, I think that's what he was kind of saying there.
in that case, before we talk about passing this, one of the things that I was planning to look at and haven't managed to find it yet, but, to verify that there's 35,000 in here for each of the principal's budgets.
There was 35,000, yes.
Okay, where is it?
let's,
35,000.
We put 35,000 in there, and then
Under elementary, high school.
With that-
preschool.
that splits,
under, the total supplies is.
then the paper budget,
95, yeah.
so then we also budgeted X amount of dollars for paper in that.
Mhm.
So then they came back with the paper, and we found that the paper was a little bit low, cause I wanna give props to, one of our hourly staff who did a wonderful job making sure we assessed everything, she put a lot of work into it. And so then since the paper was low, then I think we may have ended up like 33 or 31 overall for supplies. And then the principals got their 35,000. So the number per se is a little lower, but it's because the paper was cost lower.
Yeah, it was 31, cause here's the elementaries.
Where are you at?
Well, back when you were looking at, under elementary, when you found that 3,500, you were asking what other benefits were.
Okay,
The very next page, under elementary, if you look under supplies, it has 31,000.
we should number these.
That's why I stapled mine, so I kept them in there,
The next page.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
because they found that
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't use nearly all the paper last year, so they didn't have to order as much, so it went down like $8,000, so they went down $4,000 on each school then
For supplies,
right, for supplies, under the paper part.
so the paper portion we budgeted for came in low, so
Right.
therefore,
Mhm.
we didn't pass that bill on to the taxpayers. We gave the taxpayers a break on paper. We're spending close to 50,000 on paper and printing.
Yeah, I do see it under both, I see it under high school, and I see it under elementary, 31.
And I wanna revisit this technology thing, that doesn't make any sense to me to have to spend double, nearly triple to.
Triple. We spent $100,000 last year with ESSER. We're actually spending less this year on technology, it just wasn't on the budget, it was run through ESSER.
This will just show what was in the general side, it doesn't show how much we also spent in
ESSER.
ESSER under.
I see.
I think we tried to do.
See, I told you that was gonna come to bite us.
No.
ESSER?
No, spending all that money on technology.
I mean, a lot of schools run K3 without it, but you guys went that route, and that's fine, that's absolutely fine, I think it's a good thing, I think it's the future, but that's where it's at.
I do think those will last a long time, those are the apples, so those are.
Yeah, they have a 10, I mean, they have.
I think those will go longer than the 5, I mean, cause since they don't use them as much either and things, I think those will go, hopefully those we should hopefully be able to go longer than 5.
I got a question on the revenue,
Yeah.
the earnings on investments, it just says 20,000,
Yep.
that's it?
So
I
just
mean,
like
that
our
was,
CD.
that was what you guys projected last year, I kept it as,
I mean, but last year, what was the final?
well, we could raise it if you want,
No,
interest
I-
rates are higher,
I just wonder
He's
what we
just
got,
asking for the actual
what we got last year.
2020.
I don't have that number with me right now, because we're gonna do that September's financials on your full statements. And so I was working through,
I get what you mean, but then it's probably good to be conservative.
I like to underestimate
Yeah,
revenue and
yeah,
overestimate expenses, and then make sure that we're safe on things. So I kept the same projection you guys had last year with interest rates. I talked to a couple bankers who's not projecting interest rates to go sky high or anything like that. So since you guys projected that last year, I kept it exactly as you were this year. He did not project, I talked to 2 different bankers, they did not project interest rates to go higher.
We should just get
I
like
was
a list
interested
of,
to see what we got.
Yeah,
we should just get a list of like how many CDs we have, and how much is in there, what their rates are, et cetera.
Yeah,
I'm
he'd be
sure
able,
we have a few of them.
right, he'd be able to, look at the end of the year and see what that is.
Yeah, we also need to have those end of the year financials, that's gonna. The special reserve excess, we don't know that number yet,
Okay. Well,
correct?
yeah, because you don't know the value of your mill, so you look at your value of your mill, we're very lucky, I consider ourselves lucky to be working on this now instead of in June. Rugby passed their budget and projected a 4% increase in the mill value, and they found out their mill value in Pierce County went down 1%, so we actually experienced that same thing. We do not know our centrally assessed properties in both Wells and Pierce, so right now we're looking, but we do know that Sheridan County voted to lower their valuations by 5% across the board. So your Sheridan County values look well, to the T, down 5% in total value. Pierce County, the value went down as well. I'm not sure if we're 1%, but because we haven't got the fully central assessed property yet. Wells County, we don't have the utilities or centrally assessed, either. So, yeah, if you project, 1 mil, what is the value of a mill gonna be? We don't know that yet, so that's why it's a preliminary budget. How much will we get out of the special reserve? That will be determined by the value of the mill, because you can't hold more than 15 mills in the special reserve. So,
And when we know that, we have to do a specific dollar amount vote.
Yeah, it has to be done.
yeah, but that has to be passed before, next before July first next year. We have to transfer it once we know,
Oh, the transfer part, yeah.
yeah. That's
Kinda
the,
sounded a little bit like when I did talk to him, that pretty much, let's just think that it's maybe gonna stay the same, not really go up much.
That's where we were last year, is at around 20.
Yeah. Count on that changing, I don't think this
How
year.
do you just vote to lower your valuations by 5%? Like, we have equalization stuff here in North Dakota, don't you have to be within certain parameters?
I walked up to there's a couple county commissioners that, from our county or Wells County, we have obviously 4 counties, who have coffee up, and I asked about how you could do that, and they said, well, there's a range that you can be in, and if you have 5% gap in your range, you
I
can
was gonna
vote.
say, equalization, you have to be within this certain. Either way, it doesn't really help, cause if it's all about dollars anyways, if you lower your valuation, the mill levy just goes up, so.
That's
Right.
why you vote to get rid of the valuation property tax, because it's a bunch of bogus. Anyway, on the, those final couple pages, the date needs to be changed.
The expenses,
The summary,
okay, summer, oh yeah, 22, 23, 23, yeah, okay, sorry about that.
So,
Oh, the title, okay, cause I seen the years here were right, I was looking at this here.
There's one thing in there where it's 22, 23.
Right over here, right, yeah, I was looking at up here where it is.
well, as I mentioned before, with a preliminary and your certificate of levy, we're gonna only be able to work down. You wanna talk about that lunch monitor, or? You were
Well,
saying, 'cause like, if we're,
I
you
mean,
know what I mean?
I just,
Put a line in there, I mean, it's only gonna be like 65.
Right.
$6,500 for that?
right. I would like
Like-
to know that we're covered with the pairs, I really would like, I'm a little concerned about that.
Now, I was thinking that we're probably gonna bring, for pending this passage, we were gonna bring another title para into the fold, so now you're bringing a whole full-time person in.
Right,
Um,
yeah, that's.
So then,
But the title revenue is in our budget,
yeah, so then I have to bring you a title budget on the revenue.
but we have the whole enchilada here. So if we're bringing in another title para, it's still taking away from this.
We get into the weeds on it, there's one person who just was hired by Korea, so then that para then now, her number now is not in there, so now you have extra money in the para budget that is available to cover. Because Korea now has brought that person who was going to be halftime on the full-time. So then, do you have a question?
No,
On your phone, do you have a question? So, yeah, so then, you know, you made a gap there, if I find the sheet, actually, it's easier to find online here. So now you have, let's find it.
Is that person going to be full-time Korea or half-time with them and half-time with us?
Full-time Korea,
Okay.
well, they're doing other stuff too, but,
Right, but I mean, so we won't be paying that person at all then?
no.
Okay.
Does she have something she wants?
yes,
But she's listed on this budget.
Right.
She's not-
Which
That's
means
just
there's
what I-
excess in the para budget that
That's just what I was
is
gonna
not,
say then.
but this is just a preliminary budget, things can change later. So then, there's money in that para budget that could be used for that if we were to decide to do it later, this is just preliminary.
that's the halftime, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
That's listed on ours.
Right,
So if we wanted to do the lunch monitor para, we could.
they could
Yeah,
come out of
later
there
it's-
then, right?
Like,
Because even though she's gonna be hired through Korea, she's going to be working with our student.
The point is to free up other people in Korea to be able to work with the other districts, so yeah, my understanding is she will be working with our highest needs kids.
I'm just saying, because I was just trying to think like he did, it's like, okay, if she's still gonna be helping our students, so that's good, but yet we're gonna be paying for,
Are they gonna pay for her entire thing or half of her salary?
I would, yeah, it looks like she's going to be full-time with them.
I know they,
We had a motion.
I was listening to their meeting and there was a motion that they could hire a full-time, another full-time para for Angel. So evidently, maybe they did that now, I didn't know. I'm not on the Korea board, but I happened to be taking minutes for him that day, so there was a motion. So, and I didn't know they had. So if she is hired full-time by them and helping our students, then yeah, we'd have that whole halftime line then that would easily be able to, take some out of there. And it even be added at something, like I said, $6,500 at the most, maybe with,
Right.
I think between salary and FICA. So, whichever you want to do.
Do we wanna add that or?
Well, then we don't have to, because we have enough money, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, assuming we're covered.
Or do we just add it to make extra and then if we don't need it?
Well, I guess if you want to, cause it sounds like the person that's on here is going to be off of it anyways.
Right.
Either way, however you wanna do it's fine, I just,
If the money is in there.
yeah,
Money is
if
in
the
there.
money's in there, well, but I get to if that's gonna be something that's really helpful, that, you know,
Well, I'm just thinking what happens
yeah,
if
I
all
mean,
of
I
a
think
sudden
that's
they
a
do
good
get
idea,
another
I think that's a
halftime.
good idea when we're talking about $6,500 and
Right.
it's something that'll be really, really helpful, but.
Right, but this way, I guess it would be that we would have room for another halftime one if needed. Later on, like you said, you could only go down.
I think that formula being off is gonna be, we're gonna have to work through that formula being off too, so I don't know if you wanna go too crazy on adding more to the budget. I would say,
No, I mean, just.
it depends how much you wanna raise your levy.
It significantly changes your bottom line, that's for sure.
Yeah, so that affects your certificate of levy, and so I would say, I would recommend that you just stick with the revenue you have in here. And we work off what we have, considering that is $11,000 excess in the para budget right there, so.
Where is the, Dean of Students?
It's in $1,500 somewhere. It's in the extracurricular somewhere. We haven't paid out the high school one yet.
It's in the extracurricular?
I believe so, yeah. I have to look through. Do you remember what line item Colette was, present when we went through this and the line items, and we talked through that with,
Oh,
I went through that pretty strong, I don't know if it's in,
we did add it in. We talked, again, we wanted, as I said in my interview, in my first budget, I was gonna rely on the experience of others, and I did. And so we worked through the expenses of our district. Very detailed, and I know we talked about it, and we talked about how we were going to, what number we were gonna put in, and I think we actually put in the 2,500 in there to make sure that we had enough, and then you guys moved to do less than that, so. We've been working on it since mid-June.
was it maybe under their names individually,
Possibly.
but then we don't.
I'd have to go through it. I know though it was in there, because we went and talked, we we had a conversation about it per se as we filled it out.
Well, I wasn't sure where it was, but I did not find it.
Might be potentially worked into as extracurriculars.
It's not, though.
Well, he's not the weight room supervisor anymore, and that adds in a weight room supervisor position.
Mr. Hass is just down at 5,000.
Yeah, and I guess we haven't hired, we didn't put in the high school probably, because we were waiting to see who Mr. Hass would pick. But I believe it's worked into Mr. Doctor's salary.
Oh, he's not the, who's that then? Who's the head?
Dean students for the high school will have to be determined.
There isn't one.
Because it was Kelly.
Oh, right,
can't be.
right, no, but who's that head, or who's the, weight room supervisor now then? If Mr. D is not.
That was.
Scott Rowley.
Was Scott Rowley, but, they would have to determine, I
We'll
don't
have
believe
to
they've hired
determine
someone.
a new one, though.
So that's not in here either
So
then.
it might go back to him.
Well, maybe it is. Cause it's still under Mr. Doctor, I believe.
We probably did, cause I think when the school started last year, when we passed the budget, I think it was under his, then we changed it to Mr. Rowley, but then now it'll come back out, so it probably was still listed underneath his name, but cause we don't have the other gentleman's name on here, so. I'm sure we just had it underneath his column.
Well, do we need to, I feel like we need to get all this stuff updated.
This is just preliminary though.
I know,
So you
but-
could,
Right.
the final, but like, you will,
I know, but I just like, I'm one of those people just like I kinda wanna just see it in my eyes before, you know what I mean? Like, I wanna just see like what's our, like, this is a preliminary budget, but if we're signing a notarized, levy certificate, I wanna know what the number is.
Well, our bottom line has changed significantly,
You know what I mean? Like, I just
so I
wanna,
agree.
like, if we're keeping our revenue, cause the revenue changed.
I mean, I would,
I get it, it's just that now we have to find some time
Like-
between.
The revenue just changed by $100,000, you know, so. like-
well,
Could
it
we-
also didn't add in the CTE money, so then you have to pull in the CTE money, so that's not,
But it changed by 100, almost 110.
well, the budget balance, I gotta go back and get through it, but.
Which makes us a negative 200,000 instead of 94, I guess, we can do that kind of easy math, but.
Yeah, so
So it has to be on August first,
you have to pass it by August first.
so by or on, I mean, like, so since we can't Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday is the first, would that work if we would do one that morning? Only if that works for everybody, but I don't know if it means on or.
I just, you know what I mean, like, if our
Wanna hear
revenue's
August first then?
I gotta look at
I'm
what
flexible
time we
whenever,
finish.
but I just, like, I wanna see what
Right, I am this week too, that's why I'm
an
just trying to.
official, if we're putting the
Mhm.
John Hancock on that and sending it to the county auditor, I wanna
Right.
be for certain on what that is.
Mhm.
I just think. it
Well,
was-
I get 100%, cause that formula was off, and I've added that in, and then that changes your budget balance, then there must be a 0 or something added in, because it doesn't,
Cause like, you know, right now, given this, what we have here, we were, total levy, including all things building, et cetera, was 84.98. Do we have to levy more, you know, or do it like, you know, like with your expenditures and stuff, you're, you know, obviously, like, even if you're forecasting a deficit sometimes, doesn't mean you're going to deficit, you know, it
Right,
doesn't mean.
right, because a lot of times we always did and then, yeah.
Right, you know, and it, like, just because you budget for it doesn't mean you have to spend all that much money, you know, I understand that too, but if, you know, if we're forecasting like a $94,000 budget versus a $200,000 budget, it's like,
Yeah,
You
the
know,
odds are, yeah.
so like, do we need to, instead of 85, do we need to be at, 87 to be comfortable, or,
Right.
we need to have that conversation.
87, like, when you say 87, what number are you?
Like, we're at 84.98, so I just rounded up to 85 mils is
Yeah.
where we're at, what we're saying here, do we have to do 87? Or like, we're levying 5 into miscellaneous, do we do 7, because our revenue is off, you know what I'm saying?
Right, that's why I'm just waiting to see if she knows they're spending around on Thursday.
Just be comfortable. Cause we have excesses and stuff, but doesn't mean we should burn them.
Mhm.
How far is Brookings from Harvey?
South Dakota?
Yeah.
Oh, you're.
We don't get done
7 hours?
till 12:30 on Wednesday.
Maybe 7 hours.
Okay. Yeah, well,
But let's, so I'm
Why
asking,
did we have
if we
Thursday
would
night?
meet at 7
5.5
AM on
hours.
Thursday morning, August 1st, is that okay? Or does it have to be approved by midnight on July 31? That's all I'm asking, or can it be on August 1st?
we have to do it that early since I'm gonna be home
They just told me,
super late.
I was just told that it has to be passed by August 1st, by August 1st.
Not on August first.
The words of the person I asked was by August 1st.
I don't, sometimes what does that mean?
Well, I don't understand this August 1st thing when it was August 10th, so I'm confused, but.
Yeah, I don't know, that's what.
That's what he just said. I just think Spencer was right. Spencer pointed out that it needed to be passed by the 1st, said they're due. I went and I double checked, cause I thought it was the 10th as well, and
We'll do
I
that
brought
at
it
like
to you.
9 o'clock, 9 PM on Wednesday evening. So, I know, I'm flexible, I'm like Spencer, I'm here, so it doesn't make a difference to me, but.
Why don't
You're
we
okay.
do 9
I can do
on
one.
Thursday.
9 in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's
I mean,
working on Thursday?
That might be harder.
What about like 4 PM?
Am I golfing?
Golfing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Business manager and the board president go golfing at that time.
Yeah.
Geez, my one recreational activity. Fine.
I
will-
get you,
I don't know, I
it's
just,
okay. I
like,
just didn't know if we
9
have, do we have to?
cause like I gotta just,
Or is the morning easier?
Well,
I'm
I have
not trying
to-
to be mean to Vanessa.
Nine
no.
will be fine, I'm water sampling on Thursday, so that'll be, I just need to be to Bismarck before, I'll just get an earlier
Or is
start.
8 better?
No, 9 will make, I can make 9,
You sure?
yep,
Is-
I'm positive, if I'm sampling.
So I need a motion to, postpone this, motion until 9 AM Thursday morning.
On Thursday, you'll just have to get somebody else to do minutes, cause I'll be in Bismarck at the doctor's.
Collect can do the
Oh,
minutes.
I can.
Collect can do the
Because
minutes.
we would just have one thing on.
Yeah.
on the
Okay,
agenda,
so- Can I have a motion then to, postpone this motion until 9 AM Thursday? August
So moved.
1st.
Second.
Okay, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Alright, so we're meeting Thursday morning at 9 AM and we'll do that. So now, we will leave all the budget and we'll go down to the roof contract. We'll take care of the roof contract.
This is something that I forgot to pass to you guys in July, but thought I'd throw it in here. Just allows us to fix the elementary roof. It was issued on April 26th, but we didn't have money in the budget to pay that then. We're still on their list. They haven't come yet. I confirmed we still are still on their list, so then we can potentially just pass this. Cause it's over $10,000. It will fix our elementary roof and we won't have 6 leaks like we did at the end of the year last year.
Okay, I would, propose a motion to, pass this in second and then we can talk about it.
I'll make a motion to approve the.
Second.
Second, okay, probably moving second that we, make a motion to accept the contract, open for discussion.
So if there's 6 leaks, why does it only look like 1 patch?
Well, they did a full assessment of the roof. Tim told me there was 6 leaks. I'm just relaying information they went
Maybe it
through
just came in different spots, but all started,
in one.
That could be.
came in one area up here, but ended up going to 6 different places.
Yeah, as long as this does the job, I'm all for it.
Okay, Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? All in favor of the Tech America contract for $14,607? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. $14,607. Okay, Dr. Lucas, do you have anything on teacher update?
Yeah, we have an applicant, that I'll be having a phone conversation with later today. And, hopefully get that, Dr. Harding, I sent invites to Dr. Harding to be part of that conversation. And she has, upper elementary experience.
So if she would kind of look like good potential, then that's when you would probably call in your little committee or whatever, right?
We'd have an interview committee. We
So
wouldn't-
this is just a,
we're gonna have to move, if you're having a meeting Thursday, I would wanna have a contract for you on Thursday, if we're gonna do it. Cause we gotta get that person here, we gotta get them in for our fold, we gotta get them.
What position is this for?
Well, I wanna make sure that Dr. Harding has a say in how we staff it, but it's an elementary teacher and she has upper elementary experience. She has good,
This is always good to check her out. Yeah, and then, Dr. Harding will have to. If she's if you think she's valuable, then then you guys schedule a formal interview then.
Yep.
okay?
I thought we had a resignation.
We are not sure at this
We're
time.
not sure. She may pull that. Okay, so we're gonna hold off on that for now.
Okay.
May want to rescind her, so, we're leaving that open, right? That's still being discussed, correct? So, okay, all right. And then we can solve all this on Thursday, we'll have know more about this on Thursday, which will be a better thing too anyway, right? Okay, are we interviewing for a, assistant business?
Potentially.
Okay, there is an applicant there and you may potentially do that? Okay. You'll keep us informed of that too.
Could some of those things go in the weekly updates?
What we just talked about.
Yeah, when a teacher resigns or a teacher applies or.
We haven't had a weekly update since that happened.
Right, but there's been things that have happened that aren't in those updates. That I know.
I'll try to keep it as, when you're putting things over email, it's a public channel, so I'll try to make sure that and then make sure you call if you hear something that you think's not in the public channel, but you heard privately, make sure you ask.
Okay? All right, we can't add anything, so I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn, and remember, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn, please. Okay, move to second, all in favor, please say aye,
Aye.
and we'll see you all at 9 AM. Get to sleep in 2 more hours, which I won't do, but you guys will, on Thursday, and we'll go over it again. Okay, meeting adjourned.